Welcome to the Violence Prevention Awareness Training Module presented by OHM BOCES. Information presented in this module will assist staff in understanding the importance of promoting safe learning environments where students and teachers work together to create a positive school climate, strive for academic excellence, and promote social and emotional growth in students. School violence incidents do not simply disrupt the learning environment of a school. These tragic events threaten the physical and psychological safety of those involved, undermine public confidence, and emotionally devastate communities, oftentimes with wide-ranging impacts that extend far beyond the events of the day. School violence can have lasting effects on students and staff mental and emotional health, their well-being, and development. The psychological impacts of such tragedies may cause widespread increases in fear and anxiety in school environments, which is why it is important to recognize and understand the risk factors and warning signs that may contribute to school violence. During the 2021-22 school year, about 857,500 violent incidents and 479,500 nonviolent incidents were recorded by U.S. public schools. 67% of schools reported having at least one violent incident, and 59% reported having at least one nonviolent incident. When school violence occurs, major negative impacts on students' personal and academic well-being can result. Equipped with information on the causes and consequences of school violence, schools and communities can work to prevent violence in schools and work to establish safer learning environments for all members of the school community.
Risk factors for violence occur in people's lives, their relationships, and where they live. But major differences exist in how risks impact individuals and groups. We invited participants for an exercise to explore how.
If you witnessed or experienced violence in the home as a child, take a step back. If you were bullied at school, take a step back. If your parent lost a job and was out of work for several months, take a step back. If an immediate family member went to prison, take a step back.
I didn't have a great relationship with my parents growing up. They were constantly stressed and fighting, often because of money. I was diagnosed with ADHD, so I needed a lot of extra help in school, and also we moved around a lot, so I was constantly trying to play catch up.
You know, my mom and I lived in a rough neighborhood. There were gangs around, people out of work. It was tough.
The big plant in town, it shut down, and people started moving away. I felt like our sense of community is disappearing, and it affected my relationship with my friends, but mostly my wife.
There are also things that protect people from violence in all its forms at every level.
If a parent or trusted adult was available to talk to you and help you tackle everyday challenges and stressors, take a step forward. If you were involved in sports or other school activities, take a step forward. If you graduated from high school, take a step forward. If you grew up in a community that supported education, economic opportunity, and recreational activities, take a step forward.
One thing that really impacted me was a free after-school leadership program in the community we moved to and finally stayed in. They had volunteers from local organizations who helped us learn leadership skills and topics we were interested in, like technology, science, art, and media. They really cared about me and gave all of us what we needed to succeed throughout high school.
I got a new job, and I got retrained. I started feeling better about myself and started working out things with my wife. I started to appreciate the community and feel more connected.
Yeah, I think it's cool realizing that the things you enjoy can also protect you. I mean, I joined the track team. I love those guys. We hang out and do stuff together. We even did a community project. We we help this organization turn this old lot into a brand new community garden and a playground.
Behind every risk and protective factor, beneath every issue and intervention, are real people. Everyone deserves to live without the threat of violence, to have people to turn to, relationships that are safe, stable, and nurturing. The factor that matters most is all of us. What will we do to protect those in our communities? Learn about the overlapping causes of violence and what protects people. Connect the dots at vetoviolence.cdc.gov.
Individual risk factors may include, but are not limited to, feeling hopeless or helpless, stress and anxiety, a previous episode or existence of another mental disorder, a disability, either physical or learning, or illness, and substance use or misuse. Social and community risk factors may include exposure to violence, unhealthy relationships, negative social media interaction or influences, a lack of opportunity or sense of belonging, sudden or profound loss, and discrimination and or racism. Family risk factors may include abuse and neglect, homelessness and poverty, a chaotic or dysfunctional home, unhealthy learned behaviors, and a history of family mental health. Remember, risk factors do not cause mental health concerns. Risk factors increase their likelihood. Think about it. What are some risk factors, either social, community, individual, or family, that you see as being most relevant for your students? How do we address these concerns in the classroom and as a district? How can we do better? Adolescence is crucial for developing social and emotional habits important for mental well-being. Poor mental health in youth can impact school performance, decision-making, and overall health. Mental health challenges are a leading cause of disability and poor life outcomes in young people. Mental health impacts how we feel, how we think, how we behave, and how we relate to others.
Mental health conditions are more common than you may think. 1 in 5 youth or young adults lives with a mental health condition. Do you know the warning signs? Like feeling sad or withdrawn for more than 2 weeks. Severe mood swings that cause problems in relationships. Intense worries or fears that get in the way of daily activities. Sudden overwhelming fear for no reason. Or seriously trying to harm or kill oneself, or making plans to do so. Not eating, throwing up, or using laxatives to lose weight. Significant weight loss or weight gain. Severe, out-of-control risk-taking behavior that can cause harm to self or others. Repeated use of drugs or alcohol. Drastic changes in behavior, personality, or sleeping habits. Or extreme difficulty concentrating or staying still. If you see these signs in yourself or a friend, tell a trusted adult. The first step to getting help is to say it out loud.
The impact of mental health challenges in students can result in chronic absenteeism, a withdrawal from school, lower academic achievement, suspension, expulsion, isolating or avoidant behaviors, unhealthy relationships, the inability to regulate emotions, low self-esteem, impulsive behaviors, risky behaviors, substance abuse or misuse, and suicidal thoughts and behaviors. Someone who experiences bullying can also suffer from negative mental health issues. Bullying is an aggressive behavior directed toward a person or group of people. Bullying can be very overt, such as fighting, hitting, or name-calling, or it can be covert, such as gossiping or leaving someone out on purpose. Bullying also can be the result of a circumstance, such as being the new student at school, or it might be chronic, meaning that the behavior has been directed at the target for a long period of time. Bullying can also occur over social media, referred to as cyberbullying. Cyberbullying can cause emotional harm to the target due to the fact that the target may not know the reason why they are being bullied or whom the person is. The impact on someone who is or was a target of bullying can carry on into adulthood. These can include, but are not limited to, depression and anxiety, increased feelings of sadness and loneliness, changes in sleep and eating patterns, and a loss of interest in activities they used to enjoy.
Youth violence occurs when young people intentionally use physical force or power to threaten or harm others. It is a public health problem that is preventable. Bullying, fighting, threats with weapons, and gang-related violence are all forms of youth violence. This problem affects thousands of young people, their families, and communities each year. It impacts all genders, races, ethnicities, households across income levels, and communities, including urban, suburban, rural, and tribal areas. Youth violence happens every day. Every 24 hours, about 15 youth are victims of homicide. Over 1,300 youth are treated in emergency departments for injuries from physical assault. It is important to identify the things that put people at risk for experiencing youth violence. Some risk factors include previously experiencing violence, harsh discipline at home, social rejection, poverty. The good news is youth violence can be prevented. Factors that protect young people from violence include having problem-solving skills, positive relationships with adults, and a commitment to school. There are 6 strategies that help keep youth safe and healthy. They include promote family environments that support healthy development, provide quality education early in life, strengthen youth skills, connect youth to caring adults and activities, create protective community environments, intervene to lessen harms and prevent future risk.
Youth violence is a significant public health problem that affects thousands of young people each day, and in turn, their families, their schools, and their communities. Youth violence occurs when young people between the ages of 10 and 24 years old intentionally use physical force or power to threaten or harm others. Youth violence typically involves young people hurting other peers who are unrelated to them and who they may not know very well. Youth violence can take on different forms. Examples include fights, bullying, threats with weapons, and gang-related violence. A young person can be involved with youth violence as a victim, offender, or as a witness. Different forms of youth violence can also vary in the harm that results and can include physical harm, such as injuries or death, as well as psychological harm, increased medical and justice costs, decreased property values, and disruption of community services. Examples of violence that can happen at school include bullying and cyberbullying, fighting, weapon use, gang violence, and sexual violence. School violence is violence that occurs in a school setting, such as on school property or on the way to or from school, during a school-sponsored event, or on the way to or from a school-sponsored event. It describes violent acts that disrupt learning and have a negative effect on students, schools, and the broader community. The 2019 CDC Youth Risk Behavior Survey, which was administered to 13,677 high school students in the United States, found that about 1 in 5 high school students reported being bullied on school property in the last year. 8% of high school students have been in a physical fight on school property 1 or more times during the 12 months before the survey. More than 7% of high school students have been threatened or injured with a weapon on school property 1 or more times during the 12 months before the survey. Almost 9% of high school students had not gone to school at least 1 day during the 30 days before the survey because they felt they would be unsafe at school or on their way to or from school. It is important to remember that school is the location where the violence occurs, not a type of violence, and prevention efforts by teachers, administrators, parents, community members, and students can reduce violence and improve the school environment. Warning signs and concerns could include, but are not limited to, feeling constantly disrespected, bragging about access to guns or weapons, having a history of discipline problems or frequent conflicts with authority, recruiting accomplishments or audiences for an attack, cruelty to animals, bullying, especially if targeted towards race, gender, sexual orientation, or sex, and making direct threats toward a place, another person, or themselves. Youth who experience violence as victims, perpetrators, or witnesses are more likely to have behavioral and mental health difficulties, including future violence perpetration and victimization, substance use, obesity, high-risk sexual behavior, depression, school dropout, and suicide. 6 strategies for violence prevention include promoting family environments that support healthy development, strengthening student skills, connecting youth to caring adults and activities, providing quality education early in life, creating protective community environments, and intervening to lessen harms and prevent future risk. Family environments that are unstable, stressful, lack structure and supervision, and have poor relationships and communication between family members, and use harsh or limited discipline with children are risk factors for youth violence and contribute to young people developing other risks, such as poor problem-solving skills and early and continued perpetration of aggression. Quality early education can improve children's cognitive and socio-emotional development and increase the likelihood that children will experience safe, stable, nurturing relationships and environments, and long-term academic success and health, including lower rates of behavior problems, aggression, and crime. Strengthening youth skills is an important component of comprehensive approach to preventing youth violence. The likelihood of violence increases when youth have underdeveloped or ineffective skills in the areas of communication, problem solving, conflict resolution and management, empathy, impulse control, and emotional regulation and management. Young people's risk for violence can be buffered through strong connections to caring adults and involvement in activities that help young people grow and apply new skills. Relationships with caring adults, in addition to parents or caregivers, can influence young people's behavioral choices. These caring adults could include teachers, coaches, extended family members, neighbors, and community volunteers. Creating protective community environments in which young people develop is a necessary step towards achieving reductions in youth violence. Youth who perceive their neighborhoods and communities as safe reported less mental health problems than those who perceive their neighborhoods as more dangerous. Many youth who engage in violence as teens and young adults have histories of childhood conduct problems, aggression, violent perpetration and victimization, delinquency, and criminal behavior. These youth often have other known risk factors for violence, including substance use, academic problems, associations with deviant peers, and home environments characterized by disruption, conflict, violence, and other family problems. Many have experienced traumatic events and show signs of behavioral and mental health problems from experiencing, witnessing, and living with chronic exposure to violence in unhealthy environments. Pause and think before reacting to a combative student's actions. If the student uses inappropriate language or begins calling you names, don't react aggressively. This may only serve to escalate the student's aggressions. Remember, at the verbal and physical aggression stages, the student may be at a loss for self-control. Inappropriate language or body gestures may take place. Do your best not to let this bother you. Always attempt to project a calm image to your students. Remaining calm in both your physical actions and verbal discussions with students is critical, as it just might diffuse a violent situation. Also remember that when we communicate, the words we speak make up only 7% of our communication. The tone of our voice makes up about 30% of our communication. And the rest is our body language that helps us communicate to the students how we are feeling. Schools can play a critical role in promoting students' health and development by creating and maintaining a positive school climate where students feel connected to their school. School connectedness occurs when students feel that adults and peers in school care about their learning as well as about them as individuals. This includes a sense of being cared for, being supported, and belonging at school. Research shows that a positive school climate increases attendance rates and academic achievement, promotes student mental and physical well-being and teacher retention, and reduces violence. Schools can promote a positive school climate for students and staff by fostering connectedness through meaningful relationships, creating a sense of safety and freedom from violence, and providing an environment that is tailored to the needs of their students. A positive school climate can have profound impacts on student success, safety, and well-being. Research shows that when schools and districts focus on promoting a positive school climate, students and districts are more likely to develop trusting relationships with their peers, teachers, and others in the school community, demonstrate positive behaviors, and achieve better outcomes. In the absence of a positive school climate, a student might feel disconnected and engage in either destructive or violent behaviors. Classroom management can include establishing and reinforcing clear classroom expectations, fostering the building of relationships within the classroom and greater school community, understanding the referral process and resources available for staff, students, and families in need, and knowing who to talk to within your building or your district for additional support and/or information. District policies and regulations that address school violence may include the Code of Conduct on School Property, district-wide school safety plans, the Student Bullying Prevention and Intervention information from DASA, the Dignity for All Students Act, bullying and harassment reporting forms, and other miscellaneous documents pertaining to school safety and school climate. Additional factors that contribute to healthy adolescent development and decrease aggressive behavior include youth feeling connected to their schools, experiencing academic success, having positive relationships with teachers and other caring adults, interacting with pro-social and nonviolent peers, healthy social problem solving and emotional regulation skills, and school readiness and academic achievement. Think about it. Do you know how to contact staff that can offer support? How would you talk to a student who needs support? What could you say to express concern and encourage the student to seek out support? What is the stigma associated with not seeking support? And why might some students not want to ask for help? What are some other barriers? The websites and links on this slide can provide more information about mental health and violence for your school and for your district. Thank you for taking the time to view this training module. We appreciate all you do for your school and for all of your students, and we hope you have a great school year. Thank you again.